Hi, Omutala. Hello, Sandrine. How are you guys doing? So, I wanted to make a video to just illustrate how to export records from FileMaker into Excel. um, well, I think that um, you already have an idea how to do that, but the most important thing here is to add I think, the titles to it. And so, usually in FileMaker, you could just use export records and then, or even exports to, or I think save or send records as then Excel, something like that. And that works. Now, there are two ways to do this. And let me make a video on this one. And the second one, I'll probably make another video on that too as well. So, I have a very simple FileMaker file here, just four records, and it's just one table. And so this is the table Excel, and then I have one global field in here called export to Excel. Now, just for demonstration purposes, if I go to this layout where I have the global field, and to just demonstrate how this thing works, so I could say that full name, and I'll hold down the option key and hit the tab key. So I have this. Then I would say maybe phone number. Okay, something like this. And I'll hit the return key, and then my first record will be Osbet. I'll hold down the option and then hit the tab key, and then I'll say 000 000. I'll hit it, the return key again, and maybe say Sandrine. Hold the option key and then tab key again. And then I'll say 111 111. All right. So these are the records that I have in the global field. Now, there is a script step called export contents fields. So if we go to our script, and then just for demonstration purposes before we go into it, export field contents. Now I could now say that the target is export to Excel, and then where are we outputting the file, so the path. Okay, let me just create a path quickly. Set variable, I'll call that path, and maybe on my desktop, I just want to see it on the desktop. So desktop path, and then let's just say testing.txt. It should be it should be txt. All right. So the path would be just, path. Sorry, that'll be path, and I'll say okay, and then there's a script. Now, if I click on these, and then let me just play. If I hit this and I check my desktop, I have testing.txt over here. Now I don't have Excel itself, but then I have numbers. So they all behave the same way. If I click on this to open, now I see that this is the name of the file. Full name, phone, Osbet. This is my telephone number, Sandrine. This is a telephone number, and this is the basic idea. All right. So with this in mind, we can now go ahead and then build our script such that when you hit, let's see, when you hit the export to Excel, you are able to export this into Excel file. Now there's one other thing I need to mention. If I open the numbers application, and I say full name. Let's see, I want to enter in some records. For me to go to the next tab, I could just use maybe my mouse, or if I want to use my keyboard, I would hit the tab control key. So when I hit this, it takes me to the next cell, and I hit it again, the next cell. So basically, all that we are doing is that the tab character actually will take us to the next cell. That's the idea. And so I thought I should mention that. And so that was why when I was doing this, when I was entering in the records, I need to key in the tab character. I need to put in the tab character. Other than that, it wouldn't work. All right. In some cases, too, some people, instead of using the tab character, they get to use the comma sign. And that also works sometimes, but I am more used to using the tab character. Okay. Now, to the real stuff. Okay, so let's try to build a script where when we hit this button, we can now export everything. Let me go ahead and clean all of this thing up, and usually I will start by set error capture. Okay, and then I will set some variable. So set variable. So first thing I'll do is to set a variable for the tab character, and so I'll call this tab character, and then the value will just be, so I'll hold down the option key and hit the tab. So I have this in here, so I need to set a variable for that. Then next thing I'll do is that I'll have to probably look through all these records and then drop them in here. So that's the idea. How do I do that? So well, before you start looping, you need to go to the first record. So go to the first record. So go to the first record, and then when we're on the first record, we will set some variables as well. Usually I like to set the count and then the found count to do my loop usually. And then also, I think it's a good time for us to also set the titles. So what I'll do is to also set a variable for that. So set some more variables. So set variable, let's call the first one title, and what I'll do is the first one is full name, phone, city, gender. So full name, phone, city, and then gender. All right, so full name, and then concatenate it, and then we would use a tab character, and then we go to, and then we concatenate that again, and we would add phone. Well, sometimes I'm a bit lazy, so I'll just copy these and then I'll paste it here and then copy these. Of course, you understand what I'm doing, so yeah. So, and then I'll copy this whole thing here again, and paste, put in city. I'll copy this whole thing here, copy, paste, and then gender. Well, what that means is that we now have our title. Okay, great. Now the next thing that I will have to do is to set a count. So I'll set a variable for count of 0, value of 0, and then I also set another variable for I'll call this font count. So get font count. Okay, then I can start my loop. So loop. All right, so most of the time what I like to do is to set my exits and then increment before my action. So I would come in here and say exit script and increment. Okay, so exit loop if, and then go to record. Okay, all right, so first one, go to next record, or go to record. Let me just say go to record. So exit loop if, so which means that if the count is greater than the font count, then you can exit the loop. So if our count is, let's say, 5, and then we realize that the font count is 4, then exit the loop, basically. And again, I know you understand all of this, but I'm just trying to show you the process, how I do it. So usually I would say, and I mean, I know that there are situations where you would set the exit loop and then you increment by count plus 1 and all of that. But I learned something cool from Rob, which I like to merge everything into one. So what I'll do is to have a let statement like this. For some reason, I always do this just so that I don't get confused. So I'll say count equal to count plus 1, and over here I would say if count is greater than font count, then yes, you can exit the loop. So let me rearrange this so that it's readable. Okay, all right, and then go to next record will be go to, so if the count is 1, go to record 1. If the count is 2, go to record number 2. So instead of go to the next record and then exit on the last, I would use by calculation and say count. Okay, and then I'll turn off the dialog. All right, so now my action will look like this. So first of all, what I would like to do is to set a variable first of all for the records here. So I would like to have all the records in a variable. So set variable, and then I'll call the variable contact records. So contact records. Now I have a very bad attitude. Contact records, sometimes I just ignore to put the $sign here. It will do it for me automatically, but I mean, I don't think it's a very good practice. Okay, so just like we did for the title. So what I'll do is name, concatenate, and then the tab character, and then I'll concatenate it again with phone record. To just make it easier for me, I'll just copy all of this, I'll paste it here, and then our city, and then I'll paste it here again, and then gender, paste this here. All right. Oh no, gender. So okay, and that is it. So now what that means is that now we have our records now in this variable. Set another variable where we can now make it a list. So the first line, second line, third line, like that. So I'll call this contact data. Okay, and what I'll do is to have an if statement. So I'll say if this is empty, what is the name? So the contact data. So if there are no records in the contact data, then just paste contact records into the list. So this is what I'm talking about. If this is empty, which is this variable, so contact data, if contact data is empty, then well, all you do is just paste the record, the contact records. But if you already have a record in the list, then what we want to do is to paste this and give me a second, let me think about this. So okay, so we need to paste in first of all, so we need to see the list, then return, okay, return, and contact records. Okay, so basically that's the idea. So the idea is that if there is nothing in the list, so in our list, if there's nothing in our list, then well, just paste this. But if there is already a record in the list, then we want to see the whole list, then we go to the next line and then we paste this record. That's basically the whole idea. Okay, then we end our loop. Let me save this. And so when we are done with all of that, what I'll do next is to just paste all of this. I'll paste this record and then the title into our global field now. So what I'll do is to say that set variables into the global field. So set field export. So let me do this. Let me copy title, and then we have contact data. Okay, contact data. Okay, so paste this So we have this at the first line. So this is the first line, and then go to the next line, and go to the next line. And so first of all, paste in the title, and then go to the so that means that he's retained, and go to the next line, which is retained. So you go to the next line, and then now we have contact data. That's basically it. And so that's what I will have in here, just like we did when we started this. So so we paste it into the global fields. All right. Then the next thing I'll do now is to export the field content in the global field. So, but before I do that, I like to set the path just like we did. So set variable for the path. Yeah, that's it. So set variable, call it path, could be anything. It's desktop and testing.txt. Always it should be txt. Well, txt, yes, for export field content. Right. Okay, and then now export field content. So export field contents. So we need to specify the target field, and the target field is export to Excel, which is the global field. And then we also need to determine where we need to put the file. If we are exporting it to which location is it? Document, is it desktop, wherever. That's about this path. So path is okay. And well, that's just about it. I could say as it's script, but there are times that you might want to also prompt the user. So I'll say show custom dialog box successful. It's on your desktop. Okay, yeah. Now I'll see. Okay. All right. So now we can test it out and see if it's working. I'll just go ahead and plug it in to the script. So all right, let me bring out my debugger, and then I'll hit this, and we can walk through the script just in case I'm making a mistake, so that I can correct it. I'll step through. So okay, we have okay, all right. So set our top character, then we go to the first data, or the first record. We set our title, so we have our title over here. Okay, and then we set our count variable, we set our found count as well. So our found count is 4. And then step through our loop, we go to the first record, and then we set the contact records. Okay, let me check the contact data just to be sure that we got it right. Okay, and then so we go and do the second one. Let me check the contact data. Okay, so it's based in the second record too as well. And then okay, contact data, we have all the 4 records in here now. So then we go ahead and set our global field to these records in here. Then we set our path, we export, and then we show successful. Okay, then we exit script. Okay, now if I right click to open in numbers, all right, so now we have our records. Oh, for some reason I think I skipped on city, so we have gender records coming under city. So let me see what the problem is and quickly just rectify that. Let me come in here and see city. Gender. Okay, so Excel name, sub character, and then phone. Okay, and then city, tab character, and then we have gender. Okay, so what could I have been possibly missing out on this? Let me try this again, just to be sure what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so contracts. So we are having all these records coming. Okay, let me just cross check again. So we are setting the contact data. Set this field. Let me just see. So we have full name, phone. Okay, then okay, gender. All right, so export. By the way, let me delete the old one. And then I'll export it again. Okay, and okay, exit script. Okay, let me check out a new file again and see if I'm missing out on that. What's that? Phone number. Oh, this is my mistake actually. So I have phone repeated twice. Okay, I think this is my mistake, sorry. So let me go back and rectify it, please. So I think at the title level I made a mistake. So phone, which is wrong. So what I'll do is to delete one of them. tap control phone. Okay. Well, this time around I will just click on this and then try to open it again in numbers, and it should work. Okay, now just for purposes of, I just want to be sure, so let me just add another record and see, maybe numbers and 333 in Kigali. Oh, I'm sorry about this, because and he's a male. And let me delete this record, this file here, and do it again. All right, so now that works. So well, basically this is it. And in case you need a file, I can also make that available to you. Well, thank you very much, and please let me know if this helps. Bye.